Hi, it's Karen, the Weekend Craftaholic, and this is the last part of my craft room tour. This is going over my little sewing corner. If you didn't already see it, part one was my paper crafting stuff, so that's the longer video that included most of the craft room, and then part two was focusing on my little Cricut Corner here. This last video is going to be the sewing corner. So apologies again, as I said on the other videos, about my wobble and the volume. I am using my iPhone. And you can see here, this is kind of a little dumping ground behind the door. I used to have this big square quilting frame on this wall. I try not to move too fast, but my husband's recently put up these Kmart shelves for me instead as extra storage. I thought that was better use of the space. So then that's now tucked behind the door. So I do still have it if I need to use it for any quilting purposes. I've obviously got my little mannequin. I've got my favourite little top here that I did as part of the Sew for Life Facebook group. I absolutely love this. This is like the best sewing that I've ever done, and unfortunately it's just a little bit too small for me in the length, so it's got a permanent little place now on my mannequin instead. But I'm really proud of the sewing that I did on here, which is why I've decided to keep it. I've also got an ironing board hanging over the edge, as you can see, and then I've got this little trolley full of stuff. Now the bottom shelf is actually on my traveller's notebooks, pocket page notebooks and planners, that kind of thing. I'll just try and turn around so you can see it's just full of planners. But this next shelf is really got a lot of calico. It's got my pre-cut quilting squares and on my fat quarters as well underneath here. Then on top, apart from this, which shouldn't be there, I've got this iron mat, which is really great, and these are from some curtains I've recently cut, so they shouldn't be there either. But this is where I usually keep these, as well as any project bags that are on the go as well, so that's where I keep those. So yeah, it tends to be a little bit of dumping ground, but the idea is it's for my work in progress. Got my little bin that I absolutely love. I got that sent from Lots of Style. And then let's start with the wall itself. So on the top shelf, I've got lots of little faux leather rolls that I was planning on making little bows with on my Cricut. Not got around to that yet, but I've got them all there on display, ready to go. It's a little sign that I made as part of the National Sewing Circle a few years ago. I really enjoyed doing that project. And then some spare reels of cotton on here as well. Now I will slowly move out so I don't make you too dizzy, but I should touch on this entire wall was originally sewing, and this Kallax unit was on its side. I've recently put it upwards so I've got more space for the extra desk, which is why my little sewing sign and all of my cotton and spools are kind of still hidden away on this side. So you can see this was something I saw on Pinterest, and then a friend of mine made it for me and I absolutely love it. But going back to this wall, you see I've also got a holder for my ribbons, and then this shelf is just again a bit of a dumping ground for some starch spray on my knitting needles, my scissors, some of my quilting rulers, and that's about it. The back wall, which was only done a few weeks ago actually, you can see here it's got some extra thread for my overlocker, some pattern weights, a little tub full of extra spools and so on. And I keep all my spare buttons in these jars. This is one of my favourite things ever, this little sidewinder that I got. It saves you unravelling all of your thread if you run out. You can refill your bobbin with that. All my little cutting stuck in there. I've got some quilting clips, as well as my binding tools, make my own binding, pattern weights, on my glues and things, a little bow maker, and another little iron as well, in case I need it, and of course some pins. I also keep some of these longer rulers on the wall as well, just so they're handy for when I'm using, obviously on the cutting mat, with the cutting blades. This little corner always ends up really messy. This is me having tidied it up, would you believe? But all of my little pom-pom trims are in that first larger jar. Then I've got some smaller ribbon threads and trims, And then this one again has just got a few little trims, offcuts, and then some little sequin rolls as well. This is obviously my machine, as you can see here, and then underneath is where I keep all of my magazines. This little sewing caddy, let me just reach and get that for you. This is something that I made probably a year ago when we were able to do social sewing. So I've got all my supplies here if I wanted to go sewing on Saturday at Sew for Life. So that's all there ready to go. And I've got all my patterns here, some extra thread, and then these boxes that I tucked away. It's my knitting bag, got all balls of wool tucked away, lots of sewing things, boxes, my printer, my overlocker, an extra machine, and you see some printer ink. So this little bit is very messy, I have to say, very messy. Got a couple of drawers here as well that are dedicated to sewing, and again pretty messy. Got some belt trims, some little looms for making flowers and things, my cam snaps, a little thing here for making fabric buttons, all kinds of tools in this drawer. And this drawer has got, what does it have? Oh, some bias binding, interfacing, Velcro, pattern paper, zips. Yeah, it's a bit of a catch-all. And I've just moved you around to the other side of the craft room now because these tubs are also sewing related. Well, they should be. This is just full of wadding, which I use. You can see it's also been hijacked by more storage. This is my cross stitch, so this is quite full. This is just a little frame to help you keep most of my threads and things in this bag, so it's nice and portable when I go away. And you see there's lots of little work in progress items down here as well. And then this end box is full of my elastics and more felt. Oops, what else do I have? Yeah, lots of felt and supplies. And then the last thing I want to show you, which is my most favourite part of my little sewing corner, is this drawer. It is full of goodies and I absolutely love it. Buttons. This is a little swatch from my overlocker, and all of my machine tools are in here. This was just a little needle holder, again a Pinterest project that I started just to keep all my needles in place. And then hidden under there are all my little sewing feet as well that I got from eBay. Got flexi ruler. I've tried to separate the stuff in the drawers just kind of by category, if that makes sense. So these are all extra needles again. This is where I keep all my blades from my cutters before I get rid of them. Pins, more pins, plug, little magnetic catcher of pins. And then here I've got loads of seam rippers, as we all have, some rulers, some tweezers, tailor's chalk, more blades ready to go. And this is really on my fabric pens or pencils, markers. And this is again seam rippers and little snippers. Got some more little tools here that are still in the packet that I got recently in the sale. Still not took them out the packets yet, found a home for them, so they generally just get shoved here until I am ready to use them. I absolutely love, I got this from eBay and it's amazing because it's metal, and when you're ironing over an M, it's, love it, absolutely love it. Some other tools here, which I'll not go into too much detail because I'm pretty sure you'll know what they are all used for if you're a sewer. But this pattern notcher as well, absolutely love, because I do normally when I get a pattern trace it and make my own so I don't ruin the original, just for different sizing. And then I've got here some tracing paper. What else do I have in the back? Oh, some more needles and things as well. But I love this drawer, it's so accessible. Everything that I could possibly use and need is in one space. So these were just some cutouts as well that I've kept from the dress rulers that I got. And yeah, I absolutely love this drawer because it's just got everything within easy reach. What I need is to hand. I have obviously got the other storage, as I showed you, for things that I don't need to reach for very often. They're not too far away. But I love having this little corner because everything is just in one spot and it doesn't take up too much space at all. Everything is within easy reach. Those back, they were just some, again, some Pinterest ideas that I printed photos out of. So little reminders for me. But that is the end of my craft room tour. I hope you enjoyed this little sewing corner. I knew it wouldn't be a very long one, but I did want to separate it out for any sewers out there that are interested in organisation ideas for your own little sewing corner, especially when you've got such a small space like I have. I know how hard it can be to organise your stuff in a small space, but really I use the drawer for everything that I need close to hand, and a lot of the stuff that's in these little shelving units were originally on these shelves. So it's enabled me to spread out a little bit more with storage by using that wall as well. That is the end of my tour. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any comments, please leave them below. But otherwise, have a great crafting weekend.